All right. Just wait for that to kick in.
Peppers is gonna go live with you too.
What's that?
Peppers is gonna go live with you too.
Yeah. What are we going to do about that? All right. Looks like we're up and running. All right. Let's get cutting. I got my headphones in, so I'm not going to be able to hear shit. So,
Okay.
all right.
I'll scream at you if I have to.
What's that?
I'll scream at you if I have
Yeah. You can.
to. Right.
It's been a long time since. Never mind. All right.
Right.
All right, so we're going to be cutting out some drop spindles today. We got some black walnut here that we're going to start with. And then we got some little standards. So that's like a lighter recoff. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome in. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I can see the chat. Is there anything on the other side? It was an experiment. So Vicky is going through some of our scrap today. She keeps finding goodies of things that we made in the past. I'm like, oh, okay. So we got back from our show in North Carolina. I did get sick for like half the show, but that's okay. I was able to stay at the show and get stuff done. So we're working on getting healthier, and I'm finally starting to feel better. About a little over a month ago, we were at a show in Texas, and I got really, really sick. No, that's too small.
Fine.
Garbage, yeah. So, yeah. Everything's back. We're back to work. Feeling a lot better. Are you feeling a lot better? I am.
I am. I'm feeling much better. Yes.
Oh,
We're
craziness.
feeling better, and I think that makes me feel better.
Right.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, I'm finally feeling better. I messed up my back, my shoulder blade. That's starting to heal, so we're doing good. So we got back from the show, and I've been cleaning and organizing and trying to get everything just a little bit more organized for the winter. So our front area of the shop where we have a little retail space, and that's where we do all our packaging and stuff. The people before us had a store display, kind of a built-in thing, and it was just really big, and it took a lot of room, and we weren't really using it. And so I tore that down. I just yesterday, 2 days ago, we went and picked out a sectional to put out there. So we're gonna use it kind of as like, we don't have a lot of customers come in. We primarily sell online. So this will give us like a little clubhouse, a little place where people can come and do crafts, hang out with us. So I'm just verifying that the hole is centered, which it is. Then we'll take off the pattern. So we like to use blue tape. So we put the blue tape down, and then we use spray adhesive to glue the pattern down. And when we're done, I can just peel this off. If you just use spray adhesive directly on the wood, then you'd have to use like mineral spirits to dissolve the glue, or you'd have to sand it off. There's a lot of different ways of putting your pattern on wood, but this is how we prefer to do it. The reason I don't use normal masking tape is it's too close to the color of like maple. And then if you don't see it and you go to sand it, it makes a mess. So this walnut here, some of it is figured, it's curly. So that section right there, that is perfectly smooth, that it's not there too. So I didn't realize we were pretty much out of the 5/8 inch thick black walnut. I did have a couple chunks set aside. I think these were from my friend Hans. When he retired, he gave me some wood. And I'm getting towards the very end of it. He passed, I don't know, about a year ago. Right? Only 6 likes? How's it going, Bean? Welcome in. So we are still about 2 weeks away until I start doing recorded content again. It's just... I think we're in a good spot for the holidays, so I don't have to go crazy. All right, so 5/8 inch black walnut. And I'm going to cut the bottom one. I'm going to save this section here. We can actually fit some smaller spindles in that area. I'm going to save this piece. I'll probably use it as a glue up in between. If it was cherry, it'd probably be in the burn pile, but they don't give walnut away anymore. Hey, how's it going? Is it fan phone? Hello. Hey, Johannes, how's it going? Welcome in. Where's it, Johan? Man, I suck. I'm just gonna say 9129. That'll work. So I'm going to share a little secret. I might make a video eventually on this. So this scroll saw, I have it pitched at an angle, so it's the bottom is lower towards me, so everything's slanted. And I do a lot of little cutouts. So I have a lot of little pieces flying out. So I actually I took a piece of wire and magnets and I have this bag sitting here, so most of the sawdust will come and the wood chips will go into that bag rather than all over my lap. At least that's the intention. It's been working out pretty good. I've been using this for a couple months now. And then the bag is around the handle for tilting the scroll saw. So it's catching the dust that's coming through these holes. So this is part of the dust extraction. You can hook up a vacuum to this. But I would prefer not having to listen to a vacuum. I'd rather listen to my neighbors yell and a dog upstairs barking. I don't know if you can hear the dog barking. Oh, it's this little silver Rottweiler. It's so cute, but it does not like being alone. Hello! Fortunately, I only speak English. But yes, we are making Turkish spindles. There we go. Helps if you put the blade in, lock it in place before you start it. So I've been using the scroll saw since about 1987. Spent a lot of time. My dad brought one home when I was like 12. And that was, before computers, before everybody had, internet. So if you wanted a pattern, you had to go to the library. I grew up in the country on a little hobby farm. So I had a lot of time to plan this off. And just verifying the hole is centered in both directions. It really is not an issue, but doing a little check only takes a couple seconds. Then you know. All right, so we got 3 more of these out of walnut, and then we're gonna go over to some cherry. And then my girlfriend hates me, so she's got some purple heart here for me to cut out. So I'm using just a normal, this is a number 7 Olsen Mach speed blade. When we get to the purple heart, we're going to either go to an Olsen PGT, so precision ground, or a ultra sharp, super sharp by PS Wood machines. We're probably going to go with the super sharps, to be honest. They take off. Purple heart, it can be super, super heavy and dense, and it's really hard to cut without burning. So we're going to be using some very aggressive blades to try to cut down on the burning, because that's no fun to sand out. how's it going? Welcome in, 81. Hey, Carl. Welcome in. Yep, so we're cutting on a scroll saw. If you're not familiar with it, it has a reciprocating blade, so it goes up and down, up and down. So it cuts on the downstroke. If you put your blade on backwards, if it tries cutting on the upstroke, it's going to start chattering because the teeth are going to grab onto the wood. So cuts on the downstroke. The blades are super, super tiny, so you can definitely get some very high detail out of what you're doing. Ricardo, how's it going? Welcome in. So today it's kind of a laid-back day. What was my favorite job that you've had? Like woodworking job or like profession job? Hello, welcome in. Sorry, I only speak English. I know Cyrillic at all. I try saying hello, my friends, and people just make fun of me. So apparently, they're not my droogs or whatever. Woodworking. Well, you know, I make these for a living, so I like the money from them. I don't know. Is there anything I made that you can think that kind of stands out? Yeah, nothing's really coming to mind. I don't know. I've been doing this for so long.
And I don't know. I like your. So before we. I was not gonna say before we got because we. I'm talking about time. Before we got together, you made the boat. That's
Okay.
hanging in our.
Okay, so the girlfriend likes it. I made some complicated fretwork for her. Well, not for you, but I was making big fretwork panels that were framed. Those took time. Yeah, yeah, those weren't bad.
Um,
Yeah. It's hard to say. I've made tables for myself. I've made shelves, and I've made
Right.
furniture type stuff. But you know, then we moved to it. Then I was in a tiny, tiny shop, so I started making tiny things. Now we're in a bigger shop, and I'm still making tiny things.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty
We'll see. Yeah, it's kind of weird. For me, it's about the journey and not the final product. If I make something to fill a need, you know. Oh, I used to work at Oshkosh Truck, and that was a UAW job, so it was unionized. I used to make little wooden toys for Easter and for
Yeah.
Christmas
right?
that they used to hand out to the kids for the union parties. I really enjoyed that because I could just sit back and just, watch all the happy kids playing with the stuff I made. I don't know. There's just satisfaction with that. I don't know.
Good with the little gnome doors, honey.
Oh, no more gnome doors.
Those
Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, way back in the day, probably 2008, I was making little gnome doors. Gnome doors are everywhere now, but in 2008 there weren't. So there were gnome doors. Mice doors, mouse doors, whatever. Yeah, and they were little, they were cheesy. It was cut on the scroll saw, then it was routed, and then it was wood burned to put so it looked like the door was made out of different pieces.
It
Oh,
was two pieces, yeah.
two pieces glued together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get glued together.
Yeah.
She had the little knob that you had to work.
yeah. There's a lot of routing, real close up routing. Yeah, I made a lot of those. Oh, and that was about the time with Regretsy. So, that's when April Winchell, comedian, um, she is the voice of Clarabelle the cow.
And then
And,
recess,
and in Recess, she was Miss Finster.
right.
So she wrote a book, and she had a website called Regretsy where she would make fun of stuff that people had on Etsy that was just garbage, and she wrote a book. And yeah, she kind of she had the phrase whimsical F-wordery, and whimsical is spelled like popsicle, not like whimsical. So I used to make signs that said that, and she had it as her avatar for a while. So that was kind of neat. I've made ampersands for Nike. Yeah. I used to make a lot of word signs on the scroll saw here. Food Network magazine had a bacon episode, and I used to make signs that said bacon, so that was in that magazine, and yeah, it's kind of neat. I used to make like name signs, like big ones, for like weddings. Yeah, I stopped doing that. Working with working with brides is not really all it's cracked up to be at times. It's not them. It's me. Yeah, this is a piece that's curly. This section here, you can see the stripes all the way through. All right, now we're moving to cherry. So this is 5/8 inch cherry, and we're making these, which are just these, but smaller. Hey Bear, how's it going? Welcome in. What did you? Uh-huh.
That's a good idea,
She did
right?
2 pieces and rubber band them together. No, that's a good idea.
Right?
All right. There we go. So like this, that's scrap. That's gonna get burned. Ooh, I had my first fire in the fireplace this morning. It's kind of nice.
Yes.
I turned the heat way down. Normally I don't burn pine, but I was tearing down some wooden cabinets that were here when we moved in a year ago. They were just in the way. And the inside frame was pine. And it was all full of staples. And I'm like, I'm not pulling all these staples. So I put it in a box and we're burning that. I'll run a magnet through it to pull out the staples at the end. So if I would sell 5 of these this size, made out of these little pieces of wood, that would be enough to buy a face cord of wood to burn in the fireplace. So, is it worth saving all the little pieces and going through it, I think so. But when you have a lot of it, right now I've got, how big are these garbage cans? Are they 50 gallon?
30 maybe?
30 gallon?
30 gallon?
You know, just the big, like, you know, brute Rubbermaid ones. I think I've got like 6 of them full right now. So I'm running out of room, so I'm going to have to burn some of it. So from spring until fall, we save, you know, all our little pieces, and then we'll burn them. It makes good kindling, but I'm not going to be buying wood when I have all these bins full. All right. So yeah, this is a new size for us. I think this is going to replace the Rekoff. I like it. It's small and it's lighter than the Rekoff was. So it's kind of like in between 2 other sizes, so it'll work. Vicky is using the other scroll saw. That's amazing. What other fun and exciting things are going on? Oh yeah, my washing machine died like a week before we went to the show. So we got we got a Whirlpool, the all-in-one thing, so you don't have to switch laundry over. So far, it's been amazing. Hey Greg, how's it going? You know, it's slow because, you know, the dryer, you know, portion, you know, lives inside the washing machine, so it can't, you know, it needs to be the size of a washing machine. If you wanted a full-size dryer built into that, you might as well get a stackable one. So a normal load takes about, what, 2.5 hours to do, which isn't horrible, but it has a sensor, so if you put too much in it, it goes from like 3 hours to 5 hours on you. But you can use this normal washing machine. We still have a dryer, so if you're in a rush, that works. So back when I had a family of 7, that would have been the worst investment ever because it takes so long. But since it's only, we're empty nesters now, so we don't generate a ton of clothes. So, and it's something you could turn on, go to work, come home, and it has a feature where we'll keep rotating them so they don't get wrinkly for like 12 hours. Start a load, come back, it's dry, and just fold it and go on with your day. So we have 2 more of these. Oh, thank you so much for the heart. Much appreciated. So we got 2 more of these little ones. We got a couple cherry gliders, and then we'll get to the purple heart. Depending on how things are going, I might end up going to the lathe.
Right?
Are you good for another hour and 20 minutes?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually go have some lunch.
Lunch sounds
Hungry?
good. You gonna go have some lunch and watch some TV?
Yes. And
Perfect.
then I'm gonna do some Apex after that.
Okay.
There's some lunch that I just cut out or whatever. And then I need to kind of clean up my area. It's a disaster.
Yeah. Just a little here and there. But yeah, it's easier to work if you have room to work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I get that.
when you're in a small workspace, you don't have the opportunity to organize things, and sometimes, but you've got enough room.
I do. I do.
Is that barrelwood?
Yes.
Throw it on my table here. I'll make a shaft out of it.
Well, yeah, a little 4 inch.
You want a 4 1/4?
Yeah. Because the lady wants some nails, so I want to throw off a couple of nails.
All right. All right. Oh, welcome in, Pramel and Gene. No. Maybe. No. Throw it on my table. I'll make shafts out of it.
Another little shaft, just one. You can do whatever.
Well, I figure since I have all this purple heart here, I might as well try making 8-inch.
Yeah, you can do that too.
So you can have like an 8-inch cutout.
Yep.
We'll see. You do inlay, but you use a 12-inch German hand scroll saw. So a nice fret saw. Or one with like a crank on it. So we are making Turkish spindles that are used for spinning yarn. So we're making the arms right now. There's also a shaft. So, hello 65. So this is what they look like when they're done. They're for spinning yarn. So this is the yarn that I've spun on this. So it starts out being a bunch of floof, and then you spin it into yarn. Hello, turkey. Sorry, guys, I only speak English. We're just laying out this mortise. Yeah, you know, I enjoy intarsia and segmentation and that kind of stuff as well. It's just time, you know, it's... So yeah, so I've been making these full time for over 10 years now. I mean, it's been 12, but that's okay. You know, that's the thing. You find your niche. You find something that you enjoy making, and if people are willing to buy it, the world's your oyster. Hello, 73. Welcome in. Yeah, so we just finished our last show for the year, and our next show is until March. So we're at home for the Christmas season. At the end of the year, we had three shows. We had two back to back, and then one show like 3 weeks after it. And yeah, so pretty much the whole YouTube thing kind of took a big took a vacation, but we are coming back now. So I am a big fan of putting magnets on my pencils. So I just quickly designed this years ago and just 3D printed this. Just giving me more area to glue this magnet on. This one lives on my drill press that's right across from me here. But, you can just stick it on there. You know where it is. You don't have to look for it. When it gets a little colder out, I'll start wearing an apron, so I'll have pencils on me. But, I have a bunch of these. I've got one on my bandsaw. I've got one on my lathe. Just comes in really handy. There's nothing worse than having to hunt down a pencil. Hey, Hugo. Let's see, who did I miss? Yassine? Welcome in. Hello, King Bob. We are making drop spindles for spinning yarn. So these are small Turkish spindles. So these are the arms, and then there is a shaft that I turn on the lathe. So this shaft will be smaller because it's a smaller spindle. I do have a little sign. It just this angle. I didn't like the spot to put it. There we go. All right, those were standards and little standards. Now this is a glider, same shape, different shape. This is cherry, 5/8 inch thick. The center hole is already drilled. So another benefit of the scroll saw is I don't know if you could see how smooth that finishes. If this was on a bandsaw, that'd be a lot rougher. So we'll peel off the pattern. All right, that one, the hole is very off center. We're just gonna toss it. That one's much better. So let's see. Hey Ed, how's it going? Read the sign. It could be a drip boiler cover. There you go. Works for me. You made brunch and you just made it up. Works for me. Could be a dingle hopper or a snort blade. What did you make for brunch? This morning I made bacon and eggs, but we had some Black Forest bacon from Aldi. Stuff is amazing. And then I made scrambled eggs in the bacon drippings. Oh. So good. Some fresh ground pepper and a little kosher salt on the top. Oh God, that was amazing. Top of the eggs, not the bacon. No, yeah. Bacon was salty enough. Tonight I'm going to be making a tofu stir fry, crispy tofu. Looking forward to it. So, yep. So it's going to be fried tofu. It's going to be in the air fryer. It's going to be breaded. Yeah. The price of protein these days, and help out the soybean farmers. I am not a vegetarian by any stretch of the imagination. But I'd also like to live, for a few more years. So don't need red meat for every meal. I am not a vegan. Not at all. I'm just trying to cut the steaks down to a couple times a week. Oh, if I were a vegan, you'd already know. My ex-mother-in-law was a vegan. Which is great. If that's what you want to do, not a problem. So we're switching to the super sharps. We're going to be cutting out some purple heart. This stuff is freaking dense. Some purple heart isn't as much. This stuff is like a rock. Who's Mike? Are you too good for your home? Get in there. It snapped. Alright, we'll try again. So these are a number 7 as well. These are super sharps. So it's not a reverse tooth blade. It's just a really aggressive blade. There we go. What the hell is going on here? There we go. All right, let's look at these blades here. Try it one more time. Hello! How's Jeremy doing today? Not quite sure what that was about, but we'll see. So when you start working with Purple Heart, it changes from purple to brown when you start cutting with it, and then there's a UV reaction. So this stuff has been, you're doing much better. Awesome. Very good to hear. So you could see where it had exposure to light and where it didn't. Yeah, set this out in the light for a few days. I've got a little fingernail drying, like epoxy drying, curing UV lamp. Throw it in there and it gets much, much darker. There we go. Someday it will be purple. I don't work with Purple Heart a lot. It's not my favorite wood in the world. But unfortunately, it's a very popular wood that most people have heard of before. There's so much better exotic woods than Purple Heart. Purple Heart's cheap as far as exotic woods go. You like Wenge? Wenge is another one that's really hard woods, Ryan. I wish my mill would get Coco Bolo again. Hey, have you ever seen white Wenge? So yeah, it's also called Yaya wood. Let me see if I have any. Check that out. So that's white Wenge. Yeah, it's a, I don't know if they're related or not, or they call it white Wenge. It's Yaya wood. Really interesting grain pattern on that. Now let's see. Figure you're here, I can walk you back to the wood. Get this light going. So I don't have a ton of wood right now. We're kind of going through. But, you know, we got our walnut, ash, hard maple. Got some pretty bird's eye here. That's all bird's eye. This is leopard wood. And then we got Bacote, which is also pretty. Purple Heart, more maple cherry, walnut, zebra wood. I got to send that through the drum sander. Argentinian ligamente, otherwise known as Vera wood. Let's see. Got some rosewood here. This is Bolivian rosewood. Got some Brazilian cherry, some canary wood. That stuff can get really pretty. Sometimes it gets yellow and purple stripes in it. And then I got some thicker stuff down here. Like, look at that tiger maple. Stuff is crazy. We got a bunch of honey locust as well. This is genuine mahogany. And this is a maple that I machined this morning. And then walnut cherry. Just a bunch of stuff. I mean... Hello, user IY. How's it going? So somebody gave me this wood. So this is an endangered wood, but it was grown on a plantation. They make instruments out of it. Not marimba. Is it marimbas? Like the wooden xylophones. But I don't have any. Somebody bought this as scrap from them, but I don't have any paperwork for it, and it's endangered, so I can't legally sell it. So I don't know what kind of hoops I would have to jump through. But I got this piece of ebony I need to figure out what I'm going to do with. So since I'm here, I can give you a little shop tour. I got a room that way, which is just storage. Out here, it's just my wood storage where I keep my dust extractor, bunch of hand tools and stuff, boxes for packaging. I guess we're doing a tour, so we'll keep walking. So this is the main room of the shop. I haven't gotten over here yet. We're still kind of a little messy. Got a Shapeoko 5 here, which we'll get going. And then we got a front area up here. Hello, Fernando. So we're getting a couch put in here. We bought a sectional. It's coming on Tuesday. It's going to fill up this area. We don't have a lot of retail space, but we don't really, that's for the websites, and we package there. Unfortunately, I really can't help you get a job. So we got some 3D printers going, and Pickle Rick. So I'm currently printing my last set of dragons. So I know how much people love 3D printed dragons. So that's for the next show. I'm printing out some spindles for the next show as well. Still have to organize this area. So we got a CO2 laser engraver there. Then we got, a diode there and a diode there. And this is like my turning station here. That's about it. I mean, we got a basement where we do a lot of finishing as well. But I'm not going to walk down there. It's scary down there. All right, back to the Purple Heart. All right. Yeah, so I have my scroll saw very low, and it's pitched at an angle, and then I'm sitting in a computer chair, a comfortable chair, because I spend a lot of time on this saw. I forgot to. That back area there, if you watched any of the, if I zoom in here, so that back area is where I film YouTube videos from. So there's the Harbor Freight scroll saw and the Harbor Freight drill press, and then a bunch of lights and camera mounts and all that stuff. So if you see me sitting on that stool making a video, yeah. So those are less expensive tools, where these are more expensive. I just didn't want to make it seem like, you know, you need an expensive scroll saw in order to do this kind of stuff. Zoom out. I guess it'll work. Oh, okay. Thank you.
How long did you want to be here?
I wanted to live stream for 2 hours. I'm at 74 minutes, so another hour. And I'm going to be making the stir fry tonight. Do you want anything for a side? Because if you want anything else, we're going to have to pick it up.
No, I don't think the stir fry is plenty.
All right.
You don't really need a side.
All right.
Stir fry.
Are you willing to make rice?
Yeah.
I can't throw rice and water in the Instant Pot. I can't do
No,
that.
that's fine. But it's one of those things you have to do.
Right.
If you're working on the main dish, it's easier for me to put the rice.
Yeah. If you want to stop and get some little corn or water chestnuts or something, we can. But we got the portobellos and onions and peppers. I think we're fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
What I need to design, maybe in the next video, I need to make a tofu press. And maybe I'll do that on the CNC machine. That way I can put a big juice groove in it, catch the water. Bot. Oh, the Nigerian looking for a job? Yeah, probably. Alright. So there we go. One purple heart. Okay, we got one more little one, and then we got a sci-fi, which has a bunch of cutouts in it and multiple holes in the top. So this thing is super light. I designed this like 10 years ago. We kind of stopped making them just because they're a lot of work. But we'll dump one out occasionally. Yeah, it's weird. If you have something that doesn't sell very well, you take it off the market, then people want it. So. Thanks for the heart. Check the fit. And we have to verify that the holes are centered. Which they are. I am using this as a Pegas. This is a 21-inch Pegas. The stickers have seen better days. Not a problem. So yeah, this is an expensive scroll saw, but I do production work. This is what I do for a living. So yeah, Seiko came out of the same factory. I was surprised. I went and saw the King scroll saws at Woodcraft, and they actually went from, the Taiwanese factory. They're getting theirs made in China by Chansen. So that's the same company that's making the Bauer scroll saw I have, and the Rikon. Now the King went with them. And I don't know. As far as this saw goes, I do like having the controls up front. 21 inches I don't really need. I make a lot of small stuff. If they made a 16-inch, that would work as well. I know that King has a 16-inch variant. It's solid. It runs nice. I bought it more for, the longevity of it rather than, anything else. This saw I bought in 22. and I've really not had too many issues. My bottom frame part, these kind of loosened up, and all of a sudden my sawing was kind of messed up on it. So, once I tighten everything up, everything's fine. I'm hoping to get 10 years out of this saw, but we'll see. You put them on your Seiko? Yeah. I have a spare set that I probably eventually will put on the Bauer. But like I said, I make videos with that to try to tell people they don't have to go spend, $1,000+ on a saw. So if I put $100 chuck heads in there. So I did rebuild the chucks. I got about a year and a half out of them. I bought a refresher kit, so it had a new handle for this, and and I keep an extra set of these around. Once they start wearing out, it's just a lot easier to replace them than it is to try to sand them and dink around with them. Keep a spare set. If your blades start slipping, just swap them out and you're done. Hello, AG. How's it going? So now I'm going to make these 2 internal cuts to lighten it up. If I would cut this arm off, it would just be smaller to deal with. I want a little bit bigger area to grab. Now, when we cut, we got to be really careful because our densities are going to change. So it's going to be hard to cut, easy to cut. Oh my God, that's super easy to cut. Okay, it's harder, and then super easy to cut again. So it's like when you're bringing it through, it wants to poof, 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 poof. Wants to have a mind of its own. So it's just something you got to keep in mind that, you're in charge of controlling the speed, not the saw. So this is going to be solid all the way down. There we go. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the double parallel arm saws. When I first started, I started in '87, so I was on a bunch of, Craftsman saws, so. But once I got into like the DeWalt and the Deltas, it was kind of hard to go back, You know, I've had a Hagner, I've had a Hawk. Hello, 53. Welcome in. Cut out the center. So yeah, this is very Hey Q. Full of holes. All right, let's see what we did. Like I said, we don't make these very often. I should throw away the pattern. That way we wouldn't have to make them again. So, there we go. We'll make sure the hole's centered, and we got 3 more Purple Heart spindles to contend with. We got a bunch of minis. So I'm not sure if we're going to get to the lathe today or not. So on my bench, I have a bunch of holes, and then I have a 2x4 with a bunch of holes on that fit these dowels with these end pieces, which lets me make stacks. So I can move this over to my lathe, where I've got another set of holes. That way I always know where things are. Hello, 32 and 53. Welcome in. Just keeps everything organized, and you don't want to lose an arm to something. Ooh, we just applied to our first fiber show in California. We're in Wisconsin, so. It's a year away, but I'm pretty excited. We'll see. It's run by the guys from Clemis and Clemis. They make spinning wheels. They're more known for drum carters. They make a lot of drum carters. So they basically said, "You're in, just apply." So Honey, you should go pet that puppy dog. Keep him from crying. We are making drop spindles that are used for spinning yarn. Kind of hard to see. So, this is one that I've been spinning on. So, this is the yarn I made. This is what they look like before they're sanded and finished. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Welcome in. Alright, so we're cutting 5/8 inch thick Purple Heart. So this Purple Heart hasn't had much exposure to UV. So it's been kind of in the dark for a long, long time. If it was in the daylight and UV, it would be very dark purple. So this piece is very, very, very hard. So this feels more like Wange than Purple Heart. Hello! Hey, Law, how's it going? Lawrence. How are we doing today? Good to hear. I've had a very, very, very long month, but I'm finally starting to feel like myself again, which is great. So if you've never worked with Purple Heart before, Purple Heart can burn relatively easy. And it's really hard to sand that burn out. So we're taking our time. I'm using a very aggressive blade. So I'm not getting the best surface finish, but it's not burnt. I mean, it's that easy to burn the wood. So no stopping. If you do have to stop, pull it back. You can't just let it sit there, it's going to burn. Let's see what we did. I'm happy with that. Alright, so these are cut out, so they're going to have internal cut in. It's going to have holes all the way through with animal shapes. Hey, Ass, how's it going? What's that? You did it.
I think I did.
You did
I know
it.
I've done them before, but
Right. I would
That's
up.
cool.
I would up the power level
okay.
and slow the speed down. So
Okay.
bring it up to like 100 and then maybe 20. It'd make it a lot deeper.
Okay, so 120.
Well, what's it at now? So Vicky's laser engraving some. For the black. For the llamas. Alpacas.
It is at 100%
Uh-huh. Speed.
for power.
Uh-huh.
Speed is 300.
Drop it down to like 150. And then try it again. And then if that looks good, when you close that file out, click save. Yeah, when we updated to Studio, it got rid of all the power levels we had. Hello, how's it going? Doing good? Good to hear. So we had our show in North Carolina last weekend. It was a good show. I was sick for part of it, but that's all right. Hey Miguel, how's it going? I'm taking tomorrow off. I can't wait. I get to rake my leaves up. That sounds like fun. Ah, who am I kidding? I blow the leaves to a pile and then pick them up. Alright, now we're going to cut the centers out, and then, I don't know why my girlfriend hated me enough to, like, put these on there. That's so fine detailed, such a pain in the butt to cut out.
What?
The alpaca?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't have to put them out all in the same day.
But it's good for live streaming. People can watch me suffer with purple heart. And these things are going to be heavy. Wow. So yeah, this is one of the benefits about a scroll saw. You can make internal cuts. So there's another maker out there. I don't know if they're still around or not. But rather than doing this, they would cut out a straight piece and then cut like basically like a dado out, and then glue another piece to the top in order to get the hole in the middle, which I thought was a lot of work. But it works, you know. Looks kind of goofy, but... that's a lot better. Don't you think? Yeah. Just write down that power level.
I did.
Okay, and then we'll start plugging into the rest of them, and then we'll start saving. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
the part of that.
So,
Okay. Cool.
did you want me to make the lightly engraved one, or just toss it?
You want me to what? It doesn't matter. You can. No worries. Burn it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I taught Vicky how to use a laser engraver to make these. Unfortunately, now I'm gonna have a lot of these cut out too. I'm
Well,
kidding.
not a lot, but we'll try to. I'll try to
yeah.
keep them listed.
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm gonna make the ones that are listed that we don't have.
Yeah, definitely.
Simple.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, and there's only two. So. Yeah, I think they'll end up making a lot of bats.
Yeah, bats are cool. Bats are cool.
That seems to be popular.
Yeah, people like bats. Although the amount of bats being sold drops off tremendously after October 31st.
It does.
All right, so we're gonna go from that number 7. We're gonna stick with the super sharps. I've got number 5 here. So this is a finer blade. Because the insides have a lot more detail. So, grabbing a king size Sharpie and trying to make a delicate picture is not going to work. So. All right, we're going to start out with these rabbits. So for these, we are more concerned, well, obviously about the outside edge. So anything with the face, you have to nail the face. The face has to look good. Otherwise, the whole thing's not going to look good. We're not going to try to get this inner piece out in one piece. That's not going to happen. We'll come around, make the ears in several different swipes to try to keep the points there. Yeah, so let's do it. Hey, 888. Hey, how's it going? Hey, JS. This is a Pegasus, a 21-inch Pegasus. So, yeah, it's a squirrel saw. And we're cutting 5/8 inch Purple Heart. And this piece of Purple Heart is freaking hard. Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. I'm in America. What's my qualifications? I've been professionally making these for 12 years. I've been using the squirrel saw since 1987. Surprise me or not, but Have I ever been to India? I have not. I have not left the United States. But I have spun quite a bit of cotton. I have played on a charka. Does that count? Yeah, so we're a small family-based company. It's just me and the girlfriend. Right, honey?
What's that?
We're a small family-based company. It's just me and you.
Yes.
And a dog named Blue. Honey, we need a dog named Blue.
You need a dog named Blue?
Yeah. That way we can sing that song.
There's a bunch at Walmart that we could get.
A bunch of dogs at Walmart? Oh, Bluey?
That can't do it yet, but a dog named Blue.
This is a number 5. And I'm Scott.
Ooh. Another name to add to your list.
I don't want to get called Steve. Alright. So this one is the one I'm worried about. Just because it's so small, the detail is. In a perfect world, I'd be using a number 3 blade. But it would just burn this wood. I know it would. So we'll stick with this blade and see how we can do. I'll take my time. Fingers crossed. Yeah, when you start working with exotic woods, sometimes you have to, adjust for it. And that actually looks pretty good. I mean, you can tell it's a camelid of some sort. That's not too bad. Whew. A little worried about that one. So like I said, these blades don't have reverse teeth, so you get the fuzzies on the bottom. That's all right. Alright, we got some butterflies, and then we can switch out back to a number 7 normal size blade for what we do. So we got some dragonflies. You got a pen and paper, honey? Write down dragonfly for the apex. I would like to make a dragonfly. Maybe for the bigger size that I'm coming up with, I could put like a real high detailed one in there. We'll see. I figured since you got the paper there, might as well. Because I'd forget, because I'm forgetful. You know that you, I'm pretending I don't know your name.
Right?
You know, you. I thought you were a girl llama. I thought you were a girl alpaca. Mainly because of the hat. If you excuse me, I've got some pictures to delete off my computer. Carl. Hey Mohammed, how's it going? Welcome in. We're kind of laid back today. We're just on the scroll saw, cutting some stuff out. We got about, let's go 15 minutes, and then we'll call it a stream. We need to go home and start getting dinner going. I'm just going to drill a pilot hole. So right next to my saw, I keep a drill press. They're both controlled with foot pedals, so it feels like I'm playing the organ. Alright. And we'll start cutting these out. Hello from Turkey. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hey Tony, welcome in. So yeah, this one we have some dinosaurs laser engraved in there. So a lot of times woodworkers don't like people who use laser engravers and CNC machines. Because, you know, I'm doing this by hand and you're just using a machine, which is silly, you know. I'm sure somebody's somewhere's upset that I'm not using a coping saw or a fret saw. I mean, it takes nothing away from you. If you think that, nobody's going to buy your thing that you're making because somebody else is making it with the CNC machine charging less, those people are not your demographic to begin with. They wouldn't buy it for that price even if there wasn't another option. Right, this one I'm going to have to make just a little bit wider, which isn't a big deal. So I'm just going to lay the arm over the top. Just a little. We're really close. We're close enough where I didn't think I was going to run into this. Alright, we'll try it again. I am using a foot pedal just to save wear and tear on the switch. And it lets you keep two hands on your workpiece while you're stopping or starting. And then we have the little alpaca. So the way that this one is designed is on one side I'll put in the lines that I'm going to cut and then the internal. And then on the back side we just do the two animals. That way if there's any variations, you're not going to see these extra lines. The way that we have it set up though, we have a pin and then we flip it over to that same pin. So there shouldn't be any deviation. I realized I'm still using a number 5 blade. I'm going to jump up to another 7. Hey, Weed. Yeah, I haven't been on here in a while. We were getting ready for that show. The show was last weekend, so, it's been a couple weeks of running around and driving to North Carolina. So, and then when we got back and beginning of this week, it was all about just getting the shop organized and cleaned up. So right now I'm looking at doing about half days, spending half the day organizing, cleaning, rearranging, and then the other half making stuff. I just felt bad that I haven't been on here for so long. And we're getting ready for our busy season online to get going, so. I have a hunch you're going to see me streaming quite a bit now. kite is doing on this one. Hello, Nicholas. How's it going? Welcome in. Hey, Joe. I'm gonna have to go a little bit bigger. I thought I had the size right. I was wrong. So I would rather start a little undersize and make it bigger than start out and have it too big and then having to throw it away. Make sure the holes are centered. Seiko. Alright, let's see what we have up here. So this is Joe Billo. Which is kind of like the rye bread of wood. Marble rye. These pieces aren't too, they don't have too much variation in them, but sometimes it gets real dark and real light. It looks like marbled rye. So this is a mini Turkish. This is the smallest one I make. Although people have been trying to talk me into making even smaller ones. And I'm just happy that we had, you know, a couple little pieces of scrap of this wood so we can at least get one more out of it. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
That is pretty.
Right? And I'm going to do some apex.
Absolutely. Well, we've got about another 4 minutes. So we're going to get this one done, and then we're going to call it a stream. Are you getting hungry? I'm getting hungry. I just had a one piece of pizza.
Yeah,
And for breakfast, I kind of cut down on what we had too, you know, so. Yeah, so did
But I
I.
ate it like soup.
Yeah, and I ate it like.
And I want some.
this is an example of it's hard to rationalize holding on to your little scrap, but you know, you can get something else made out of it. They certainly do not give wood away these days. Exotic woods are not cheap, and the way things are going, who knows? Just who knows? The Senate found the tariffs to be illegal again, but doesn't stop them from happening. I mean, they don't do anything about the Hatch Act. Why would they do anything about that? Hi, I'm Abraham Lincoln. Buy my top hats. Abraham Lincoln top hats. All other top hats suck. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. We got quite a bit done. But I am ready to go grab some food. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to try to stream at least a couple times a week. Next time I stream, I'm probably going to be on the lathe making the shafts for these. So hopefully I'll see you then. So if you want to watch the streams, please give me a follow. Click that bell to get notified because I live stream just all over the place. So a couple times a week, but who knows what the time is. All right, guys, have a great one, and we'll see you later.